to be just the right age for New Star. That's where we were last night. Our son has a kind of trout pond out by, you know where the Newberry Creek is?
No, not
Curtis Creek? Well, it's out on the other side of Lothrop, and then go up in toward the park. And they have enough grandkids and shoestring relatives, so they have their own camp. So we were out there last night. And those kids are about that age. And they have such a great time. I forgot on taking any pets with you?
No, we have a cat and a dog, and the cat's going to stay and get watched by my parents and my in-laws. We're going to put the dog in the kennel.
One of the people at this camp last night, they flew in from Seattle, and I don't know what you have to do, but they have a pretty good sized food in there. What do they call them? Food for nothing as a service.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow, we've multiplied. God did tell us, right? Go forth. Good job. Well, I'm Larry Perlman. I'm here to welcome you on behalf of the board of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Swananoa Valley. And to become a member, you have to learn how to say that 5 times fast. Which is why we call it UUCSB. We are a welcoming tradition. We believe that we can all believe different things and still love one another. So welcome here for whatever you believe in, wherever your faith came from, whether it was this place or a traditional church, or whether it comes from science. Wherever it comes from, you're welcome here. Thank you for coming. We would ask you to turn off your cell phones. We could ask me to turn off my cell phone. And we'd like to start out by having our new guest, who has been here just once. This is your first time, or maybe it's your second time, or maybe you haven't been here in a long time. And you might want to stand up, tell us who you are, and where you come from. So let's start on this side. Is there anybody new to us that would like to stand up and introduce yourself, if you're comfortable?
Hi, my name's Leif. This will be my first time here. I come originally from like a traditional Christian kind of background, and the message of being able to understand things differently and still love each other is why I'm here for the first time today. So.
My name's Brian. I've been in Black Mountain about 3 months. I haven't been to a congregation in a long time, so I'm really looking forward to experiencing this. Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else on this side? Okay, is there anybody on? Oh, here we go.
Hi, my name is Caroline. I'm here with my fiance, Levi.
Hey!
We've lived in the area for quite a few years and pass by this place all the time, so we thought we'd stop by and say hello.
Well, anyone on this side? Lois?
Can I stay sitting?
Sure, if you like.
When I came here years ago and met Michael, that was it for me, and then I went down to Florida and stayed here for quite a while. Long time, and then here I am, back here. Thank you.
Yay, she's so
Anyone else on this side?
Hi, I'm Jim. This is my wife, Diva Collins.
Hi.
We're UUers from way, way back. We never joined because we're real UUers. Well, we moved around a few different states, and we always find, you know, we've had wonderful experiences wherever we go, and you guys are a big, big part of it. Oh, and we live outside of Bakersfield.
Oh,
I actually came up in the UU church in Rockville, Maryland, so. Glad to be back.
nice to have you over. Anyone else on this side? Well, I have to tell you, new folks, that you are obviously intelligent because you picked as your first time to come here the day we have a potluck. So, and if you'd like to learn more about us, there's a card that looks like this. It's in the pews in front of you, or you can find them out there in the foyer. You can fill it out, and we won't badger you, but we'll, add you to the newsletter, whatever, to let you know what we're doing. And if you'd like to know a bit about what our mission is, it's written on the front of your order of service, and our principles are on the back. I just like to say, I always like to say this, it takes courage to come into a new community for the very first time. It really does. And so I personally appreciate, and we appreciate you coming here today. Thank you. We have a land acknowledgement, which is important to us, but I left it home. So I will just say that we acknowledge that the land that we are currently on, that we enjoy being on, was originally the land of the Cherokee and other indigenous tribes in this area.
It's on the back.
Oh, yes. The Cherokee, through stewardship, understanding, and conservation, survive and continue to thrive in this land. We acknowledge their enduring connection to their homeland, which is now our home. And with that, the only announcement I'll make is, as I just mentioned, we have a potluck today. Please stick around. If you came in and you say, "Oh, we didn't bring anything," we have so much food, we could feed the whole neighborhood. So don't be shy. Stay for a time and get to know people, mingle a bit, and find out if this is the right place for you. Thank you.
Seeds and wire. Maybe I should put that. Listen, because I'll forget. We are looking for someone who would like to volunteer to be our scribe for the board. Please don't all jump up. But if you are interested, let myself know, and me and myself, just let me know, and we'll pass it on. You'll work, but you'll have a hand and see how we do things. Maybe some of you don't really want to see that. So we're looking for a scribe. If you're interested, just let me know. So, these words are from Unitarian Universalist John Millstall. Leave aside the little thoughts that distract you, for this place, like all places, is a holy place. And this time, like all times, is a holy time. Join with this community of seekers, and together, let us seek, but also let us find. Please rise as you are willing and able, and join in singing our opening hymn this morning, number 302, Children of the Human Race. 302. Try something new. It's not that it's not the sound, but the lyrics are, you know, did you check it out? So, let's try something new now. 524 is our reading in the back of the Greyhound room. Let's read it together. Reading number 524. First, Mother Star.
You who are called by 1,000 names, may all remember yourselves in your body and dance together. You are the grain and the loaf that sustains us each day. As you are patient with our struggles to learn, so shall we be patient with ourselves and each other. We are radiant light and sacred dark, the balance. You are the embrace that hardens and the freedom beyond fear. Within you we are born. We grow, live, and die. You bring us around the circle to rebirth. Within us you dance forever.
All right. Let's get a little woo-woo. I love it. It's not really bad. It's only all okay. We have a treat. You can see us each having apple pie. Thank you. This is the time in the service when we invite you to come and share a joy, a concern, a sorrow. The mic is on. Diane will light your fire. And the floor is yours.
I'm Andy Reid, and I would just like you all to keep my friend Sarah Ann in your thoughts. Sarah Ann is a novelist whom I've published, and we're working on her memoir. She's 87 years old in May, and on Friday night she fell and broke her collarbone. So she is going to be going through some tough times in the coming weeks, so keep her in your thoughts.
Hi, I'm Sally. I have a joy and a concern. The concern is I have a big nest of bees on my property, and I discovered this because I got stung twice. And my hand was all blown up for a couple days. It's almost back to normal now. But the joy is that it's back to normal now. But the other concern is, how do I get rid of this nest of bees? I went to Town Harbor and bought a thing that I can spray them all with.
No!
Exactly. So if anybody has an idea of how to get rid of this.
Call a beekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you.
You're a beekeeper?
They can relocate.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think they're wasps or yellow jackets.
Yeah, don't call a beekeeper.
So if anybody has any ideas, let me know.
I'll talk to you. It almost never bees, it always yellow jackets.
Good morning, I'm Mary Soyanova, and I have a joy. I volunteer at Bounty and Soul, and we have been handing out 600 boxes a week to people who come who are in need. And now my request is, I have asked you in the past to save egg boxes, and for a while we were awash in egg boxes, but now we're out of egg boxes. So save your egg boxes, bring them back, and we will use them. Thank you.
Speak it to Mike.
The mic?
You don't have to look far. You don't have to look far to see a miracle. What could be more supernatural than a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, an egg yolk into a chicken, an acorn into a mighty oak?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rihanna, and a couple weeks ago, this is for all of you new people, full sanctuary, but a couple weeks ago I came up here and I was very vulnerable and just sharing about being lonely. And I was swarmed after the service. And it was awesome. And there was such sincerity. And since then I've been to movie night, I've joined the membership committee. And so I think I found my spiritual home. So there's the good. And the concern is, well, it's not a concern. This is a good thing. I'm going on vacation, so I'm not going to be around for a couple weeks. To San Diego and Baja, and I have friends that I was going to stay with in Baja. They're lovely people. I just adore them, and they were traveling around Europe, and she ended up in the hospital in Italy with double pneumonia. Didn't even know she had it. And they've got good health care there, so she's being very well taken care of. But if you could send good thoughts of healing and prayer and good mojo energy to Mary Beth DeCecco, you don't know who she is, but she's a fabulous being. And I want her healing up so that by the time I get down to Bali, she's there. Now, I can still stay at her house, but I want her to be there so we can drink wine together.
I'm Diane Hutchins, and I just have a word about one of our choir members, Angie Underwood. Unfortunately, about a week and a half ago, she took a fall, and she has broken her collarbone. So that has definitely cramped her style. So if you think of it and want to reach out to her by email or a note, I'm sure she'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
My name is Tina, and last week I was here with a couple friends from Australia. When they were getting ready to leave, they said the two best things about this area are the fact that everything is green and that the people are the warmest, most welcoming people they've ever met. So thank you. You take a big part in that.
Good morning. I'm Maggie O'Neill, and I am so joyous to be able to tell you that after reading our land acknowledgement statement for almost 2 years now, I believe, and having our beautiful sign that Mary created for us, we are going beyond land acknowledgement. The UU CSV Social Action Committee has just confirmed that we will be a sponsor for the conference on Beyond Land Acknowledgement that will be held at UNCA in September 30th. And I'm in the process of inviting other congregations to be sponsors for this conference, calling them, writing them, and we have speakers from Cherokee. All native speakers will be coming, artists and craftspeople. It'll be a fabulous day. You'll be hearing lots about it. But I just wanted to tell you the fabulous news that we are finally going beyond land acknowledgement.
I'm James Sheeler. Many of you know that I have a blind Maltese dog. And he just had a real exciting time in the last week. He went in to have his teeth cleaned, and he ended up having some teeth taken out. So he's to a point now where he is gumming his food. So, but he's a real tiger. So he's hanging in there, and he knows I have to be over here to keep an eye on Scott Conklin, but he knows I'll be back. So it's I don't know, we sometimes take for granted the good health that we have, and can hit anybody. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Scott Conklin.
I'm Scott Conklin. I have a missing tooth too, you know. But really, I decided I'd come up here and light a frivolous candle of joy. Yes, James, they're all frivolous for me. Michael, thank you for having
us sing that brand new, difficult hymn. I love the sentiment. I love the cosmic perspective. I never heard that hymn before. I've never read those lyrics. It was wonderful. And it also reminded me of my very first Unitarian preacher, Marine Coloran, who always said, no hymn should ever be sung for the first time. But we can sing it again now because it won't be the first time.
Sorry, these are going on forever, but I did write mine down today. And by the way, I grew up in Silver Spring, went to Cedar Lane, and Silver Spring. Anyway, so let's connect. Michael fills this place up every time he's here, and thank you. However, sometimes our guest speakers don't have quite as much notoriety among us. So I am here to tell you that next week our speaker is worth coming to hear. It would be, amazing if it was filled like this, but she is one of my best friends. Let's see, I did write this all down so I could be concise. She has an inspiring life and compelling evidence to back up her topic next week. She is practical, and so you'll get practical information. And when I listen to her, sometimes my mouth hangs open in awe. So bring cash because she has a book and no cards.
Well, it's never a dull moment. For those of you who, for whatever reason, didn't bring cash, for those of you who, for whatever reason, didn't come up, know that we keep you in our thoughts and in our prayers. So, thank you. And thank you. This is a meditation called When Life is Messy. And yeah, so, and we'll have our usual time of quiet afterwards. So please center yourselves the way you see fit, and let's be still and know. It's easy to pray when the sun shines, and we are grateful for another glorious day of being. It is hard to pray when wind and rain and thunder plague our every step and spoil our every plan. It is easy to be virtuous when life goes well, and our existence is a journey from bliss to beauty and back. It is hard to be virtuous when life assaults us and our very being is a pilgrimage from bad to worse to worst. It is easy to be cheerful when health bursts all around us so that we can feel the very pulse of life. But it is difficult to be happy when pain and fatigue beset us and we wonder if we can really want to go on. It's easy to do good when our goodness is rewarded and we feel the power of pride and accomplishment. It is hard to do good when we suffer for our efforts and are troubled because we've been misunderstood. It's easy to feel religious impulses well up inside us when inspiration lives at our elbow and walks beside us on our path. It is hard to feel religious when we are tired with work to be done and discouragement seems to mark our every move. O God of order and neatness, we give thanks for all that is good. We are grateful for manifold blessings bestowed upon us. And O God of chaos and disorder, be with us also when life is messy. Bless our coming in and our going out from this day forward. And now, while our minds are one for this brief moment, I leave you all with the eloquence of silence. And so it is. We have another treat from our choir, and the greatest use of life is to spend it on something that will outlast it. And in that spirit, we'll collect this moment's offering.
shall be well again. I know.
Thank you for your generosity.
Michael, I know this is but you mentioned that you really want
I think you just did. We have a UU 101 class after the service, so get your food. And when we're supposed to start at 12:30? Oh, we're gonna be in here? Yeah. So at 12:30, it's condensed. It's not like in seminary I had to do 3 months of it. You don't have to remember a lot of dates and stuff, but just come and brush up and see what you've gotten yourselves into. All right. The mystic, Julian of Norwich, holding an acorn in her hand in the 14th century, said, "In this is all there is." In this acorn. A profound statement, to be sure, for in every seed lies the components of all life the world has ever known since the beginning of time. In every seed is the gift of life to those seeking life, those wanting life, and those denied the kind of life the seed has to offer. Martin Luther once said that if he knew the world were going to end tomorrow, he would still plant an apple seed. It is a statement and insight that defies despair. It promises new life in the midst of the old. I remember when my brother was murdered, and I went to Israel shortly thereafter, and I was talking to some people on the tour about what happened, and what they had me do was plant a tree in his name in Jerusalem. When human beings first began cultivating seeds, wheat, rice, corn, beans, flowers, and consuming the bounty, our lives grew longer. Natural foods contain the spirit of life. However, today, we approach the seed for business reasons or for personal interests. We often try to manipulate seeds for money or for science or other reasons. Our collective egos as a species make us think that we can manipulate nature and consequently life itself. Yet nature is not simply a tiny seed isolated by itself. It is connected to everything. The wind, the soil, the weather, just like we are. We must learn to honor the seed and to remember the wisdom that you and I were born with. Seeds are what are most essential to life because they give us sustenance. So for centuries, the planting of seeds in the earth symbolized the mystery of life and the journey of the soul. We descend into the underworld, and then we come back, and life is regenerated. And through the darkness, we are born into light. But in our current supermarket life of prepackaged products, far removed from the cycles of planting, we seem to have forgotten. We've forgotten the mystery. Yet it remains within our collective psyches as one of the most symbolic and nourishing stories there is, because it's a connection with a deeper existence. This is how Easter started. And now, as the integrity of the seed is threatened, and so is the story of our primal meaning. The mere fact that we live, exist, and move and have our being collectively is a testament to this story. The fact that we have to fight for something so essential to life as the integrity of seeds speaks to the real drama of the present moment, that we have to fight each and every day to preserve what is most sacred in life. We have to protect the earth and our lives from a culture that has polluted and desecrated both the inner and outer worlds, and that seeks to control life for simply power and profit. It is vital that we hold on to the actual seeds of our physical nourishment, as well as holding on to the symbolic meaning that nourishes our inner life, or soul, if you will, not a scientific term, but we don't want to let science get in the way of truth. Life itself is asking us to save what is most sacred from civilization. I use the term loosely. That we've lost our way, and that its connection to the earth and symbolic dimension of what it means to be human. And I want to be clear, I am far from anti-science, but there are things that we're just learning that our ancestors knew. And we call it New Age, New Thought. It's just old wisdom being rediscovered. And this is what quantum theory is just catching up to, thank goodness. We need to remember that the seed and what we call the soul are connected. They belong to the future as well as the past. For our children and for our children's children, we cannot afford to lose this connection. The story of the seed also gives us hope in this time of shadows. And as we live in this wasteland of a materialistic culture, where in the midst of images of abundance, we have to search far and wide for fragments of meaning, the story of the seed tells us of a regeneration. If we can, as a species and individually, if we can stay true, and this is a big if we can stay true to the sacred substance and sacred meaning of the seed, we can create a life, a planet, a place of rebirth, a place where the inner and outer worlds meet, where real nourishment can be born and can begin to blossom. And this is our task. This is our task. We are all kind of Johnny Appleseeds, if you will. And when I was doing research for this talk, did you know that not only was he sowing seeds for apple orchards, but he was also telling people about the spiritual teachings of Swedish theologian Emanuel Swedenborg. Did you know that? Yeah, and Swedenborg gave us more of a metaphysical look, or a new thought look at Christianity. And Johnny Appleseed said, I'm giving you the good news. He had a gospel. And the gospel, he said, I got this gospel, and it's right fresh from heaven. And we too, as Unitarian Universalists, or any other faith that you have, or no faith even, that we have good news as well about the oneness of creation. And that love is the glue that holds this all together. That's our good news. That's our gospel, if you will. We're told in the Christian tradition that the kingdom of heaven is like a child. In Taoist philosophy, we're told the same thing. In Taoism, the highest achievement that you can have is cultivating oneself to become like a child. So we're told this in both traditions. Why? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because the child is innocent. A child has an open mind and remains alive to all the possibilities and opportunities that this reality has to offer. In nature, right? One tiny seed contains contains all the energetic possibilities and opportunities of life. One of the most profound principles of the Taoist worldview is the yin-yang. You know the symbol, a little dark and a light, a little light in the dark, a little positive and the negative. And so, but this is the way the world works. The simple black and white symbol captures the entire workings of reality in that one symbol. It tells us that everything has a positive and negative energy. It tells us that this energy is designed to work in harmony, and that these energies are interrelated, they are inseparable and complementary, and they carry power and information. Taoist philosophy also helps us to understand that everything is interconnected. Underlying the world we experience with our five senses is the invisible world of oneness that science tries to find a metric for, but there's some things that can't be measured. There's some things that can't be measured. The old science says, the Cartesian Newtonian science says, Michael, show me and I'll believe. The new science says, believe and I'll show you. Believe and I'll show you. Thousands of years ago, great masters recognized and experienced this inseparability through a spiritual practice. Spiritual technologies, whatever you want to call it, walking in nature, journaling, meditating, orgasms, tantric orgasms. You know, all these things are tools to help us realize the oneness that is all around us. Quantum physicists are exploring these things today. Many thousand years later, they're finally getting it. Jesus once said that the kingdom of heaven was like a little child for the same reasons. In the parable of the sower, the teacher Jesus tells us about the human heart, and that the heart is like receptive soil to the seed of the message of love and oneness that he was trying to communicate during the time, obviously, of the Roman Empire. We live in empire today. The soil that the seed fell on represents the different soil that we find in the human heart. The hard heart, the shallow heart, the crowded heart, and the fruitful heart. The parable goes like this. I'm not going to ask you to turn to your Bibles. The Gospel of Matthew. That same day, Jesus went out of the house, and he sat beside the sea. And great crowds gathered around him, so he got out, and he got into a boat. And he sat down, and the whole crowd stood on the beach. And he told them many things in parables, saying, a sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seeds fell along the path. And the birds came and devoured those seeds. Other seeds fell, but they fell on rocky ground, where they didn't have much soil. And immediately they sprang up, but since they had no depth of soil, and when the sun rose, they were scorched. And since they had no root, they withered away. Other seeds fell among the thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil and produced grain, some 100, some 60, some 30. He or she who has an ear to hear, let them hear. The meaning of the parable is this. First, there is the hard heart. The seed falls along by the wayside. People hear the message of oneness that the universe, well, Jesus called it the Father. They hear that the universe loves them, but they can't accept it. They don't believe it. Then there's the shallow heart. The seed falls on stony ground. They hear the messages and they receive it with joy, but because they are not grounded or rooted, they wither. It reminds me of Emerson. What was it? It was Emerson? Don't be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. Next is the crowded heart. The seed that falls on the ground got choked by the weeds. These people get busy, they're distracted. They get busy with the world and its distractions, and so after a while, they lose interest in the message. Finally, there is the fruitful heart that receives the message. The seed falls on good soil, and the plants produce a rich harvest. We are the ones, you and I, we are the ones who get to decide what kind of soil our hearts will be. Are you one of these people that you know it all, you've been around, and nothing surprises you? You've seen it all. You know, you've been around. It's not your first rodeo. Not your first lifetime, maybe. So you've seen it. Or are you still, does life still hold some sense of awe, some sense of wonder for you? There'll be rough and challenging times, and our hearts, our soil must remain strong and nourished so that the seed will grow. Oh, look, look. Look in the mirror. Oh, look in your distress. Life remains a blessing, although you cannot bless. Oh, stand at the window as the tears scald and start. You must love your crooked neighbor with your own crooked heart. Remember all the poem? You see, the heart has different ways of perceiving life. Rather than dividing and conquering, it connects with the seamless and invisible reality, more real than this reality, with an entirely different way of how to organize information. See, in the West, we're taught to see the heart in a very cliche and sentimental way. We play it off against the mind so that the individual is in his or her head. And that is true to an extent. One of the criticisms of Unitarianism is that we live in our heads from the neck up. If you are wedded to cerebral thinking, you are in your head. If you are wedded to the heart, you're in your emotions. It's kind of, it's too either or, even though there's some truth to it. Dual is thinking for sure, but in ancient times, the heart was viewed as the seat of the will. In the biblical wisdom tradition, the heart is primarily an organ of spiritual perception, a highly sensitive instrument for keeping us aligned as we do our earth walk, as we journey through life. And if you read the Exodus story, Yahweh hardens Pharaoh's heart so that Pharaoh says, good help is hard to find. I'm not letting these people go. He didn't harden his mind. He hardened his heart. And the heart aligns us with the deep realm of meaning and conscience. The heart picks up reality in a much deeper and more integral way than our poor Cartesian Newtonian minds can even begin to imagine. The heart can pick up subtle symbols and signals from all levels of reality, not just the rational. The intellect is part of it. Yes, 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 yes. And no one appreciates intellectual acuity more than I do. But there's like my Apache friend told me, I told you a story, I was drunk in a bar in Santa Fe. He's bitching about his land was taken. I'm bitching about slavery. And we had a real pity party. And I think maybe after that fourth beer, he said to me, you know, Michael, listen to us. The farthest distance you'll ever have to travel is from here to here. And then I got another round. Because that was checkmate. I said that, boy. I love Albuquerque. But the contemporary Sufi teacher, Kabir Helminski, encapsulates the wonderful way, the universal wisdom that we call the heart. He says we have subtle, subconscious faculties we are not using. Beyond the limited analytic intellect is a vast realm of mind that includes the psychic, extrasensory abilities, intuition, wisdom, a sense of unity, aesthetic, qualitative and creative faculties, and image forming and symbolic capacities. That's a lot of power there. And through these, though these faculties are many, we give them a single name with some justification because they operate best when we're all in concert together. They comprise a mind, moreover in spontaneous connection with the cosmic mind, God, the force, whatever you want to call it, but it's the total mind that we call the heart. All right, let me get back to seeds so we can eat. But I'm coming back. There will be times when it seems that death is the great ruler of this world. There will always be those times. The forest dies for the sake of the loggers. Great fish die for the sake of caviar. The fields die for the sake of fracking. Humanity dies for the sake of money. And people die for want of the food, and all of these things threaten us. We have become so accustomed to destruction in the name of progress. We are now commercializing seed, of politicizing seed, of monopolizing seed, of genetically modifying seed for the sake of someone's control of creation and making seed the new military weapon of the 21st century. It's all about a matter of valuing money we can make today more than we value what the life is to come. The matter of fact is this, that we're all, you and I, are seeds. We are seeds too. We are either seeds of universal love or we are seeds of exploitive racism. We are either seeds of eternal hope or we are seeds of eternal despair. The mind is the soil, and the seeds are the philosophical or spiritual ideas and principles. We are to be receptive to this truth by perceiving with our spiritual eyes, if you will. Trust your intuition. Listen to your heart. See, I love this because I think with my feelings. I'm not the only one, obviously. I didn't know how to articulate it. James Baldwin was talking about it in an essay. I said, my God, that's me. I think with my feelings. The kingdom of heaven, or beloved community, is physical as well as having a non-physical form. It's right here. It's right here if you have the courage to listen to it, to open yourself up to it. The physical manifestation will be justice and equality. You can trust that. Why are thoughts compared to seeds? Because thoughts are things. The way you perceive the world is the way the world will treat you. So we create a lot of our own reality. Yes, there are glitches in the system, but we are much more powerful than we believe we are. And science is just catching up to that. So, what kind of seeds are you sowing? It's rhetorical. I don't have to answer because I have a feeling someone's going to ask me. What do you want to read? We are either the seeds of a new humanity or we are the harbingers of humanity's decay. We have a choice, a conscious choice, depends on what seeds we are and how we treat each other and what we will do to make ourselves more available to the world, or not. You don't have to. You have free will. And all that means is you can do anything you want. You can. As long as you know that you will pay the consequences for it. You can call it karma, blowback, call it what you will. You can do anything you want. But it does come back. It will come back. Even our intelligence agencies use this blowback. They know. They don't act like they do, but they know. There's an old adage that says they tried to bury us, they didn't know we were seeds. They didn't know we were seeds. And we are the seeds of our own life to come and the life of the planet as well. Sister Norwich was right. In the seed is everything there is. All right. Okay. Our closing here is number 207. Speaking of seeds, let's talk about our Mother Earth. Earth was given as a garden, number 207. Please rise as you are willing and able. Okay, so we got a lot of people to thank. Can you show the choir some love? Yeah. Okay. When you get outside, please thank Alice and Dave. And thank you for bringing the food, and they set it up. So show them some love. Again, if you want to be the secretary, because if you don't, you won't eat. Come on out. And so these are the closing words. The words are, live so that if your life were turned into a book, Florida would ban it.